Alright, it's all done. So all the shrimps, this was the male and the tank one, and I always put the male in first, give him some level of dominance or recognition for the tank, and then I add the females. And they're still hiding, it's just new. And I think there was one back there too, but anyway, there are 4 females in here plus him, and the game begins. And this tank, the same thing, he's the male, and it's so interesting. Every single, and I've done this hundreds of times, I've set up these things throughout years hundreds of times, and every single time this is exactly what you see. The male sits in the center of the tank no matter what I do, and when I add the females, he doesn't move for a bit. So here are the females. Slowly but surely they're coming out, and they're going to get comfortable around the tank. The tank is fully cycled, so they're really not complaining. And such a beautiful shrimp. Just look at that. I love this one. Anyway, so I will take short videos of the process of what happens. Basically, what to expect is the male will get removed. He won't stay in this tank. Once I see all the females are buried, I take him out and put him back in the community tank or another breeding tank if I have another one ready. And the females will stay and drop their eggs. Once they do, I remove each female who has dropped her eggs and put her back in the community tank. I don't breed the females right after one another. There's always at least a month, and if they're not buried in between, then I put her in a selective breeding tank. But I don't put them all at this, I don't breed them immediately after they drop eggs. Maybe they do it in nature, but these are expensive shrimps, and they're more valuable. I don't want to put undue strain on them. So about a month, I gather the ones I want again and set up the new tank. So it will be this series after this one, because the tank's going to be working. Once the babies are born, they stay here until they're juvenile, and I put them back in the community tank at that time. But I have other selective breeding tanks that they be working, so they happen constantly. But those females won't be breeding for until a month later after they drop eggs. The babies will grow up here until about half an inch, large enough that I can see what they are as far as pattern goes. Put them in their appropriate tanks, community tanks, or whatever the case may be. I will show the next stage when the babies are peewees, and that would be our next stage of this process. Hope it helps you, and hope you can use this to create better shrimps, higher grades, better patterns, new things. This is a great way to do crosses, new breeds, new patterns, colors. One thing to mention, and I will end the video after that. The parameters of these tanks are measured daily, sometimes 2-3 times a day. I don't take chances with my smaller tanks. The TDS is at 120, never one dot above. And GH, and well, of course there's no KH, but GH is right about 5. Depends on what products you use, that will change, but the GH of the bucket is what you always have to measure. That is constant, its level is constant with TDS. The other thing is I do constant water changes, minimum once a week, and minimum 50%. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it is what it is, and I have a lot of good results because of it. My tanks never have decay or waste being read as false numbers. The amount of minerals in there is always constant, and I test them as well. I use good products like SL Aqua, TM1, magic powder, plus I feed my own food, red powder, which is phenomenal, and it keeps the tank healthy and good too. And it's great food for babies and boosts fertility. So I can't think of anything else to add. If you have any questions, please ask. I will try and answer as many of them as I see. And if you need to find my page, I'm on Facebook. It is called Red with 2D, Red Hart Aquatics, REDDHART. Red Hart Aquatics. I will put the link in the details. Please ask questions, please give me feedbacks, I would love to hear. And stay tuned for the next part coming up. Have a wonderful day.